Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harrison, and we are back for another Play All 5 series of Age of Empires 3 for you today. This is the EPL week number 3 now between the SKGs and the Nila Ninjas. We have IndiaBot representing the Somali Kabuli Gaming Company, playing as the Spanish and spawning into the southwest of the map. The map today is High Plains. The Spanish pick is a very sensible pick. Lots of trading posts in this middle trading route, so Spain is a very, very good civ. They like maps with high TPs. They can go over for advanced trading post. And to counter pick Spanish, we have iamturk choosing to use the French civilization onto game number 1. Game number 1 was an open pick, so iamturk, who'd be representing the Nila Ninjas, choosing to counter IndiaBot's Spanish pick for game number 1. Both players kind of postulating around 3 stray sheep. Not a treasure both players desperately want, but it looks like iamturk is working his way on a nice 60 XP treasure early on, and given that this treasure has been picked up before the first shipment, iamturk would be very happy that this shipment is under his control, or should I say treasure, and that should speed up his first shipment. And you know, the first shipment being sent earlier, you get your 3 CDBs out in the field earlier, they're gathering resources earlier for you, and that means more resources in the first age in total, and a really nice crisp age 1 for iamturk. And it just sent his first shipment now at 127, so expecting to see 3 CDB enter the field at about 155, 157. Having a quick look around, it looks like it was just a single food start. iamturk having no coin in his bank, no coin in the floor, and just a single house bean dropped down. So no market for the French player early in age 1, and IndiaBot himself has only got the house down. And for a single food start, I think that's going to actually benefit the Spanish player first, because with coin start, the Spanish player isn't really going to be dropping down an early market. The French player can, so I think India will be happy to know that iamturk has just gone for a single house and nothing else, and 3 villagers coming down for both players at the exact time. So Spanish player getting that shipment early due to the Spanish bonus, but iamturk 3 villas early in as well due to that 60 XP treasure. Working his way on 95 wood though, iamturk will be happy with that pickup. Should help him for any trading post contentions and captures while in transition. And iamturk should be clicking up, and will be clicking up with 13 vills just as the 13th CDB pops out the town centre as well. No idle time here for the French player. A very nice pick. Already sending 1 vill forwards to start herding in this pronghorn hunt. He does have a nice juicy bison hunt nearby as well, which can be herded in. But with 2 hunts to the forward side of your base, trying to herd these hunts in is a priority for the French player. IndiaBot, every single vill currently is on chopping duties. We do have 1 vill on far right side herding, another vill herding this bison hunt in. The pronghorn's probably the hunt you want to herd in second compared to this bison hunt, but no complaints here of trying to herd that in. And actually this vill is going for a nice wander towards the trading post line, and we can assume that IndiaBot here is going for advanced trading post at second card. iamturk already laying down 1 trading post, still chopping wood, still looking to go for a second trading post it looks like. Currently no market text. Okay, place mines just coming in. I would actually really like iamturk here to try and get a second trading post. It may actually want to cancel place mines right now just to get the resources required to drop this down. He doesn't realise, but a villager from IndiaBot is actually working his way into this trading post and actually is going to go for the steal. iamturk is getting his market text, but at this moment you don't need placer mines. Placer mines is not really helping your eco, and the French player is like, this trading post has now been stolen. I'm going to have to move to another one. But it's too late. IndiaBot's getting this TP as well. The villager has secured the trading post to the far right. Explorer's taken the second trading post, and now iamturk with lots of extra wood available has come into a sticky situation where he can't actually spend that wood. You see he's running to that middle train post sockets. He's like, okay, you're capturing this one. I'll go down to the one below. But IndiaBot has line of sight and buildings on all 4 sockets, and iamturk is just out a little bit too late. And it's such a small difference, but that was all because he went for placer mines being researched in transition instead of that trading post, and he's just slowly watching this TP counts from Indiabot just increase and increase. He's going to be very gutted when he sees this train post goes up, and he realises that the train post in the top left is under the Vil control as well, and iamturk must be feeling very disappointed at the moment about how that transition went for him. Two houses, stable thrown down with that age up wood, and actually still has enough wood to get the steel traps in, so it's not all lost here for iamturk, but you can see that he had that wood available or on the way to get to the trading post, but decided to stop chopping wood after he realised he's got enough for hunting dogs and placer mines while, you know, researching, enough for hunting dogs and steel traps while researching placer mines. I still think Turk here really needed that second trading post just to kind of deny the opponents that 4-1 advantage, and Indiabot following up with 700 wood. Why does he need 700 wood? Well, he needs the wood to research the stagecoach upgrade, drop a market, drop 2 houses, drop a second market. Second market hype. Let's get the 2 market hypes in the chat, guys. And Indiabot, I hope he's thinking that was a barracks, because wasting 100 wood like this early on, it's pretty bad. But it's not the end of the world, especially if he has the stagecoach upgrade coming in. 7 Rodoleros being shipped from Medigo. A nice card here to try and defend from this 4 Hussar pressure. Captain Formucker. Once again, Harrison, OP cast. For free. Well, yeah, I mean, it is. But yeah, thanks for the donation there. All money being donated onto the ESOC TV channel will be further invested into the community and prize pools. And in this competition, players are fighting for game wins. Each game wins a point. And what do points mean? Points mean prizes. And after the playoff stages, the final playoff between the top 2 teams, we'll be playing for that prize pool, which is only ever increasing due to the fans' generosity. 210 XP picked up for Migo here, and that XP pickup is actually really nice, because now that he's on the stagecoach, he can set his TPs onto resource income like the wood, coin, probably not food here, but is not getting any more experience points from the trading post. However, that's where that 210 XP comes in, and look at Migo's shipments. 6 shipments already, with 700 wood, 7 rods, 700 coins, 5 villagers all in the second age, and he still probably has another shipment on the way, and managing to age up to the Fortress Age. iamturk already going up to the Fortress Age after sending a 4-vil 700 coin. These 4 Hussars, the same Hussars from early on. He hasn't lost a single unit yet, and did manage to pick up a vil from Migo earlier on. Those rods, fast units, but still quite far away from these Hussars. They were out in the field trying to siege this trading post. May not needed to send all of the Rodoleros back, and he was training another batch of these rods as well, so he could have actually just kept those Rodoleros out on the trading post if he knew he was having extra reinforced in heavy infantry. You certainly don't need this entire batch defended from 2 Hussars, and that trading post from iamturk is still standing, and the quicker this falls for iamturk, the quicker Indiabot can build his own trading post. Five Dragoons sent from iamturk, 3 Dragoons made as well. I'm not feeling this actually, the 5 Dragoon play. I'd rather have liked to seen Falconet's first card from iamturk. The reason being, Falconets take a while to move across the map, but the Falconets have high siege, can start dealing with the training posts, and by the time you have another 1 or 2 Fortress Age shipments, you should be then able to push out. But Dragoons are running straight into the Spanish player's base. With good micro, could be able to pick off a few of these Rodoleros, and even the scout age up here from Indiabot can get caught out by the Dragoons, but actually he's going to get snared by one of the Rodoleros. A couple units going down here and there, but it doesn't feel like it's achieving too much, and the Spanish player still has that 4-1 trading post advantage. 2 Hussars, 2 Dragoons going down there just for the 2 Rodoleros. Not the greatest trade from iamturk. Bit of idle time though, but I think Indiabot's going to be very happy with how he's sitting right now. And now that the 2 Falconets have been shipped, Now, they're still in the French players' base, and they've got a long way to traverse across the high plains here. If he loses a Dragoon to this training post, that's going to be some sloppy play. There's no reason to be losing expensive units like the veteran Dragoons here to the trading post, and actually will be losing... Oh, he's dodged. Has it changed far into the Explorer? Nah, it does get picked off in the end there. So good control from Migo if he was trying to focus down. And another Dragoon, 1 HP. That's really close. Falconets, though, slightly ahead. And what is India bot going for him? Starting to train skirmishers while having that Rodolero mass on the field. Spanish Gold has come in. 2 barracks down. Hopefully he has enough units here to kind of hold out from iamturk's early Fortress Age push with the Dragoons and Falconets, and now actually sends in 2 Falconets of himself. That should be easily enough of a military advantage for the Spanish player just to stabilise at this point. And we'll be looking to go for 5 Lancers as next card. Let's have a quick look at both players' decks while we've got a bit of a lull. Hand infantry combat, cav combat, and the caballeros for India bot. No forts. We've seen the 2 Falconets in Spanish Gold already. 8 Lancers in the 4th age, no Hussars. I'm not feeling that 8 Lancer shipment in the 4th age, but I don't think we'll be getting there. I'm not too sure India bot is playing for a revolution strat. He's very happy going for Skirmisher Rodolero at this point. And Falconet's moving a bit forward. Could get a nice volley off on those skirmishers there. And he does so. Picks one off skirmish off for free. Currently got his artillery pieces unpacked. And trying to actually micro this artillery war. So it's going to come down to artillery war. Who's going to win this? And the first shot comes off Migo. Rodolero actually needs to get on top of the Falcon as well. It's enticing iamturk's cavalry onto it. Looks like iamturk managed to snipe both Falconets there. And with not many skirmishers here, I think those Rodoleros could have just actually clicked onto those Dragoons, because you're forcing the Dragoons to either stand and fight the Rodoleros or just get snared and just continuously losing units while his rods were on top of those units at that point. Now, Migo with a 3-2 TP advantage, so that lead has been cut from 3 TPs just to 1. And iamturk Explorer nearby this trading post, ready to steal it at an opportune moment. So you see he's already got 200 woods lined up, ready to go. I think India bot wants to push out, try and absorb much HP on this trading post as possible, but you can't let French take down your trading route for free at this point. I think looks like India bot is looking to go for some sort of flanking maneuver. Maybe could split these rods into 2 groups, but skirmishers moving in. Remember, it's just 1 Falconet. It's much less scary than the 2 Falconets. And Rod's just going to go straight onto those skirmishers and Dragoons. A couple of Lancers being shipped as well, and the Hussars. These skirmishers are very much dead at the moment due to these Lancers on top of them. Skirmishers need to push forward and focus on the Dragoons. And the military population advantage already is so far in the favour of the Spanish player. These skirms are absolutely dead. These skirmishers need to keep on moving forwards and go onto the Dragoons, and even actually putting some Rodoleros into cover mode. I like it, but they're tanking lots of ranged fire at the moment. But if a Rodolero could have got into the Dragoon and snared the Dragoon mass, then it could have even been a game deciding move at that point. Units in queue, 2 QSRs from iamturk coming out. He's seen this heavy skirmisher-based competition and knows that he cannot continue Dragoon production. Doesn't have many skirms out in the field, so switching to 3 QSR and mixing with the 3 QSR shipments. Migo still hasn't sent any of the Rodolero shipments into the 3rd age. 9 Rodoleros or 8 Rodoleros, so that could be tactically used to bolster his anti-cavalry. He's also trained 6 rods as well, because you have so many skirms. It's the rods which provide the siege damage for the train posts, but they're also just so strong units in conjunction with the Lancers and the skirmishers. It's just, that's his weakness at the moment, and there you go. 9 Rodoleros being shipped, as well as a batch of 6 joining the fray, and once these Rodoleros join up with the Spanish army, this QSR switch from iamturk will fall flat on its face, I'm afraid. Quick look at iamturk's deck. Standard AoE3 deck. has both the Romans and refrigeration. No Jaegers for the French player here. 8 skirm, 7 skirm. Still has 7 skirms to send. And he really needs skirmishes to try and deal with this Rodaleros. He lost a few skirms in that early engagement, but not much cavalry units remaining from Migo. He's just going for pure skirmisher Rodalero, and mass skirms deal with this very well, especially when you have enough cuirassiers as well to back that up. But with only a single barracks pumping skirmishers, if he's even training them. But he's not, he's just going pure cuirassiers in queue at the moment. Nice raid on these villagers, only losing a couple of vills here for iamturk, but I guess at this point they're not gathering at the moment. Maybe coming back though into the engagement just to soak up some damage, and cavalry combat has come in for iamturk, and he's got many cuirassiers on the field. This is the time he wants to actually engage, and these Rodaleros need to switch places with the skirmishers, and it looks messy, but I think the rods are now on top of the cuirassiers mainly. Skirmishers at the back. These Rodaleros, veteran upgrade. No hand infantry combat just yet, but with a 40% range resist, these guys are the absolute counter to cuirassiers and their worst nightmare. Cuirassiers not doing too much damage to the Rodaleros, but there's so many skirmishers and dragoons in the backline covering fire. It looks like actually there's just enough amount of supporting units from iamturk to pick off the infantry here from Migo, and once those rods go down, but there's nothing protecting these skirmishers, and oh dear, another 10 reinforcing batch of skirmishers. That's not exactly what you need right now, and iamturk has crushed that fight, to be honest. These cuirassiers, like, once that last Rodalero went down, all these 3 cuirassiers have just stayed on the field ever since and just polished up the remaining ranged infantry of Migo, and you can see it in the scores, you can see it in the military population. That was a crushing fight, and now that it's cav combat and not many rods in the field, I think if we look into units in queue, we'll see iamturk just pumping out more and more cuirassiers. Another 5 batch has just been produced, and these guys will be charging their way onto the battlefield to catch up with the French army, which has now lost all that cuirassier support, but he still has the dragoons and the skirmishers, and these are the units which have been dealing with the Rodaleros. He just needs that cuirassier batch just to kind of help mop up the remaining skirmishers. Oh, big raid left side. 3 cuirassiers on top of all these villagers. Rodaleros are coming in to pick up this raid, and another batch of 5 cuirassiers reinforcing. Very wise to get these guys out. You can see how quick those Rodaleros picked off those cuirassiers. Raiding is always a good idea, but at this point, if you're iamturk and you can see the entire map that I can, you realise actually you just want to try and trade off your army with the Spanish player as often and as well as possible, because you've got such a stronger military at this point. It's worth engaging. Just imagine if those cuirassiers were in the fight here. They're currently sieging, but it's the fact that there's no cuirassiers here is just keeping the Spanish player able to send his skirmishers forward instead of Rodaleros forward, taking up all the skirmisher and dragoon fire. Right, cuirassiers moving out left side, going for another raid. Even more villas over here this time. 3 cuirassiers still on the train post, but will be scouted by Migo, who's paying attention. You can see which direction they went left. But I think there's just more skirmishers here for iamturk compared to Migo, and he's winning this fight with attrition. A Lancer shipment here is trying to stabilise, but he's losing villagers on the left side, and this is brutal. Cutting off all his eco supply, all that food. Rodalero's moving out, and now it's just I still think iamturk is putting too much emphasis on this raiding though, but now coming to clean up a few of those villas on low HP. Rodalero's a little bit out of position, but still 27 skirmishers for iamturk. He's winning this skirm war. These dragoons do not want to over-engage. Okay, there's the cuirassier reinforcements, and that's exactly what he needed, with some heavy cavalry here just to make sure that the Rodaleros are coming back to defend the skirmishers, and so many skirms are going down now. Rodaleros engaging with this heavy cavalry of the dragoon cuirassiers, but what do we see here? Cheeky Turk going for another raid on these villagers, and lots of these guys have got low HP already. We should see at least about 5 to 8 vills going down if he plays his cards correctly. But does that matter though? He's losing his army in the centre. Yeah, really good game there for iamturk. I think what really hurts Migo there was the continuous reinforcements of skirmishers when actually once you realise you're ahead in that skirm count, going for Rodilleros and Lancers as your primary competition then may have been a better idea at that point. There's multiple times where those Rodilleros could have actually caught up and snared the Dragoons, because the Dragoons having to stop to fire onto the Rodilleros, but these Rodilleros can just continuously charge onto them. And especially when they're trying to path around some skirmishers, and could have got the snare off occasionally, picking up some extra units and decimating that Dragoon count early on may have helped the situation. Like Curious says, switch from Turk proved pivotal, but Migo, he could have managed to go for a hand infantry combat after the 9 Rodillero shipments. He did have that combat card in his deck, and that big engagement with about 30 Rodilleros, if they had that combat card on as well, they would have been able to tank a little bit more HP, deal with the QSS faster, and may have been the tipping point for Migo. Oh, look at the all unit. So the unit count is different because these are one population infantry compared to the 3 population QSS. But if we go into military unit population, you can just see how decisive that was for iamturk. Essentially, those QSS, they did engage with the Rodilleros. They didn't do the best with dealing with the Rodilleros, but there were so many supporting units from iamturk, the skirmishers, the Dragoons, the Minutemen, and that was just enough to break through that Rodillero mass. And with a few QSS remaining, and then there's QSS onto those unguarded skirmishers, it was a total cleanup at that point. Migo did well to actually reinforce as he did, but that was the game deciding fight at that point. And towards the end, iamturk abusing his military lead and just hampering Migo's economy very late on with those 3 QSS raids. And if that game continued, we'll probably see another 5 to 10 vills going down at that point. It's just forcing back all this eco. No mines in base, so it's starting to run thin, and just no more hunt from the Spanish player. Where was he going to gather? So a 1-0 to iamturk and the Nilla Ninjas. Very happy that iamturk is off to a good start here today. ESOC Dhaka is the next map. SKGs to pick first. Portuguese coming up from India. Looking at one of Migo's series in week number 1, he's still yet to upload his series week number 2 results. In week number 1, he played with a variety of series. It's a play all 5 series, but in his 5-game series, he played a single game with the British, the Iroquois, the French, the Spanish, and the Portuguese. So Migo is a very well-rounded player in terms of his civ diversity. Also a very good Indian player as well. But choosing to play Portuguese on Dhaka, I like this pick from Migo. You have options. You can go for trading post control in the north. You can go for full sea play into the south. There's more whales in this map now, so you can quite comfortably go for a sea boom and ensure that you have enough resources there to sustain a nice, healthy military mass off the whales and the fish. Especially if you micro your fishing boats correctly and just have a nice balance between your fish income and your whale income. But then once you have enough food income going, just kind of tweak it so you have more of your fishing boats going to the whales early on, because those whales are infinite sources of coin, and then you can just gather from the food fishies for the rest of the game. Could go defensive town centre on the coast. Lock down that coast for him. Could go town centre on that middle pond. Lock down the middle pond from aggressive shipments from iamturk. Could go for a town centre up to the far north. Back to temple berries. Town centre right on top of those extra berries. There's lots of options here for Portuguese, and I think Migo will be, I wouldn't say overly dictating the pace, but there's lots of strategies and economic options available for him to change his playstyle around depending on what his opponent's going for. And iamturk going for the Japanese. I know there was a person in the chat a while back hoping for some Japan playstyles, and we're going to see that Japan playstyle come out from iamturk now. Right. Game number 2 on Dhaka between Migo and iamturk. We have IndiaBot representing the SKGs spawning into the left-hand side of the map. He'll be playing as the Portuguese on this Dhaka map. And we do see a wood crate starts coming down for both players as well. That wood crate starts will be helping the Portuguese going for an early TP or a dock, depending on what kind of play style he's looking to go for. And that will basically be dependent on what deck he picks, whether it's a full water deck or maybe just a standard land deck with a few shipments. We'll have to see what IndiaBot wants to do. iamturk, though, scoring a single point so far for the Nidda Ninjas, taking game number 1, and that was the French versus Spanish game on High Plains. iamturk now playing as Japanese on Dhaka, countering Migo's Portuguese pick, going for an early consulate. Would start for the Japan players, so they have 3 wood crates in base, chopping in a little extra wood available just to get to that first shrining queue at a respectable time, but didn't need to chop any wood because he did see a nice 40 wood treasure, which has been readily picked up already. Both players are now moving forward. One of iamturk's explorers went straight to that north side, trying to find all the yaks, and he sent quite a few of the yaks home already. A few more to be picked up, but currently having about 1, 2, 3 under his sight already. The 4th gone back to the base. I think IndiaBot has maybe picked up 1 yak where it had, but where are the remainders? There's a few still alive. There's 1 yak here yet to be picked up, but I think that might be it. If we go to shipment sent economic units, we can see that it's only 4 Turks, and this is the locations of the Turks. There should be another 2. We do see 1 yak not picked up just yet. I can't see where the 6th one has spawned, whether it's underneath these trees. I don't think so, so I think it's just a 5 this game. But Migo going for an early trading post instead. He did chop some wood to get a house going, and managed to pick up a big wood treasure as well. IndiaBot 80 wood, very happy with that, and advanced trading post as well. So let's have a look at Migo's deck right now. They sent that first shipment, and we can see advanced dock instead of schooners. Not too sure on that decision there, but it does have rendering plants. If you're Turk and you're looking at this, you're thinking water, and you're thinking maybe an early dock at this point, but Migo with that ATP play, he wants to try and actually contest these trading posts as soon as possible. And actually, he went for this very defensive trading post, which I guess is quite nice just to secure. But if you actually get this trading post down first, you might miss that first pass, but you'll get that second pass sooner on. But you'll be in a nice prime position here to try and take on this trading post and deny iamturk any safe. There's no way he crack shot it and ran away. But says there's no way he just randomly was taking damage from a single tiger. If iamturk can scout what Migo's up to, he can try and steal one of these TPs for himself. 1 villager moving forward as well to try and capture the train post. But actually, it's very important to. Okay, you can lay the foundation here, but it's very important for Migo to try and capture this one. This is the 1 TP that iamturk will be running towards if he sees what's going on. But judging by what Turk's doing, I think he's just going for shrines at this point. And you see a couple of these monks are just sitting by hunts, ready to shrine them up. Sending 3 fishing boats as its first card, as we expected. And a nice play here from Migo, securing this trading post. This villager now can go off and capture this trading post and let the explorer continue building. This villager only needs to build this trading post up to about 500 HP, and then he can be on his merry way, hunting extra, gathering extra resources, and letting the explorer do the building construction work. Shoga Shrine coming down from iamturk on top of the elephants and the forward hunt. Lots of hunting base here for Japan to shrine up. Let's have a look at Turk's deck. Migo can clearly see that 3 fishing boats will be the first card from Turk. His other card is Enlist Irregulars, which is the Asian equivalent of Colonial Militia. 2 Fumes, 2 Atakabunes, providing your firepower on the seas if you want to try and contest water. No fishing upgrade cards here, and also no 5 fishing boats, but in the event of the Portuguese going for water play, it's probably a wise decision to not oversend fishing boats onto the water, because if there's a single caravel in the water, all these fishing boats in Japan player are effectively dead. Migo going for a very early Bhakti Temple. I'm not too sure if Migo is aware that there's now 2 Bhakti temples on this map instead of a Bhakti temple and the other one, which I believe was a Sufi temple. He's only just completed that 4th trading post with his villager, but if he really wanted to be BM, he could also capture this other Bhakti temple. Is he researching vegetarianism from that temple already? Because if you're going for a really early vegetarianism, you can hunt all these villagers here, hunt all these animals here with your potential market hunting dogs, or maybe not even go for hunting dogs. But once these hunts have been expired, just going straight into these berries. And the reason why that's very good is look how far the hunt is away from Migo. A lot of walking time, and a lot of these are already shrines up. These villagers, short walking time, not much idle, and just a consistent food income on these berry bushes. Villagers now going straight into this berry bush. It's locking down a lot of the map, this town centre. It's got full line of sight over this crossing. He's walled off this initial crossing here. No line of sight at this point. Maybe a wall from one of these villagers being produced from this town centre actually may be quite useful, especially now that you've got the 4 TP stagecoach behind. Should have enough woods to provide. But Indiabot, rendering plant, first card on the water, and you've only got 4 fishing boats. It's certainly nice to kind of, you know, have rendering plant first. But if this was schooners, you could go for, well, it's still 2 docks, but you'll be pumping out fishing boats much faster. A little bit of wood saving on each boat. And the more boats you produce, the more XP you get from the production of the boats. And in the short term, maybe slightly better of an economic shipment. But actually, I don't disagree. I'm not actually going to disagree with rendering plant, because you might be too pressured to send rendering plant at a later point. So the fact that it's already in, it's just nice to know that just if you're investing into your fishing eco, you know you're going to have some good fishing ups. And it's already going for 4 boats onto a whale, and I love this play so much, because it's prolonging the life of your resources on the sea. He knows that all his villagers are currently in base working on these elephants. The difference between whales, fishing boats gathering on whales, compared to fishing boats gathering on fish, compared to, let's say, villagers mining and hunting, it's better for the fishing boats to mine and the villagers to hunt. So that's a nice start, and especially as Indiabot will have that vegetarianism upgrade working for him very soon, if he has the resources to spare. And even up to the Fortress Age off the back of the 700 coin, this has been a really impressive build so far from Migo. I've been enjoying watching what the Portuguese players have been up to, and lots of options. And you know how I said at the start of the game that the Portuguese can either go sea, trading posts, or north side control. He's gone for a bit of everything, and it'd be very hard for the Japan player to actually punish one side or the other. Now getting vegetarianism and hunting dogs, so villagers in base hunting a little bit faster, but then they can go straight onto the berries. Villagers up here, berries. Town centre, north side, on top of this gold mine. This is really nice play from Migo. But on the other side, let's look what iamturk's doing. Yumi archers, disciplined ashes. 2 flaming arrows though, first card. A little bit unsure about that. And Migo can see this straight away, and these guys very strong versus boats. 7 times multiplier versus ships. However, for these flaming arrows to actually cause economic damage, they have to cross one of these ponds, and Migo could just send a frigate, and as soon as that frigate arrives, can get a broadside attack off. And speaking of a frigate, there's one right now. And the frigate, I believe it outranges a flaming arrow just about, and this frigate is denying iamturk gets onto the trading post. But it also, what is really nice, it kind of forces iamturk to deal with this, which delays his total push onto the rest of the base, giving more time for Portuguese boom on the water and the north side. But my god, those flame arrows, they're so strong versus ships, and rest in peace. That is ridiculously strong. I know that does more damage than a culverin. That surely shouldn't be correct. EP Patch team, if you're watching, you know what to do. That's crazy that there's only 3 flaming arrow shots is enough to take down a frigate. But though, Migo, lots of experience points, slightly delayed iamturk there, only tiny amount, probably didn't get the most amount of value from that shipment that he wanted to, but now has sent 1,000 wood behind it, and 1,000 wood is enough to get that infrastructure down in base. More houses going down, artillery foundry, barracks and stable, and looking to units in queue, and now that he's starting to work on the whales in the sea, should be able to get maybe a culverin out in the field, and yes, that's what he's choosing to do to combat this flaming arrows. I would also really like to see Migo going for a single caravel at this point. If you've looked at Turk's deck, you know he's got fishing boats out in the water, and iamturk also dropping down a dock. This might be action all over the park in a minute. Concert's currently on the Japanese isolation. Harker in the chat suggesting an interesting strat could be Portuguese consulates with caravel and petards in it, but actually 3 culverins on top of these Atacabunes. But see how the culverins, 3 shots, doing 1,200 damage, 400 per shot, and needs 6 shots, well 5 shots technically, but 2 volleys to take down these boats. Those flaming arrows much more effective as anti-ship against these culverins. But having said that though, culverins 34 range drastically outrange the flaming arrows and the warship here. Wow, the range is not even close between the culverins and flaming arrows. 34 range versus 28 from the Japanese flaming arrows. 1 town centre does go down from Migo here, but he's still got seconds at the top. And now that he's trading off these culverins with the flaming arrows, hopefully he can split these units up a little bit better. But his culverins tanking so much damage there. Entire volley from Ashes and surviving. But that's awkward that he didn't pick off all those flamings, and that's because those Ashes came up close, and the culverin, the castles, just not enough yet to scare away iamturk's infantry mass. They're fishing boats now with their gill nets as well. Nicely upgraded. Still waiting for the long lines, but Migo is pressured at the moment. He needs every bit of coin going straight into military production. Migo does not have the 3 caravel shipment in his deck as well. He's chosen to include shipments like refrigeration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He had one more space. He had space for 1 more card into the 3rd age. It's hard to argue which card you would take out though. Every other card here is very important, and maybe the 2 caravels. It's not often you're stuck in Colonial Age 2 and needing to send caravels to lock down the water. There's 7 villagers here actually. A few villagers have tried to hide in the far corner as possible, but it doesn't look like Migo is actually interested in defending this at the moment. Could even leave a... Oh, Mamelukes have come out as well. Mamelukes on top side to try and snare his army. Dragoons and Castors. This is a catch from iamturk. 1 flaming arrow getting picked off. That was the low HP one. These Mams really need to go on top of that low HP flaming arrow to make the most use of these high HP units. And need to kite away from Ashes in melee and yeah, forcing these guys into range damage. But all these Dragoons and Castors dealing good damage, and you know, that Atakubune is strong, but it's not fighting because it's in the wrong pond. Wow, that was a total cleanup from Migo. iamturk reinforcing with 7 Ville shipments, training more Villes, even throwing down more town centres, but I think a 2nd town centre now from iamturk is just not going to keep up with Portuguese 2 town centres, the vegetarianism upgrade as well, but also this fishing fleet into the south side, and soon these two fishing fleets from both the civilizations will meet each other, exchange stories, but send word back to their home city that they need to send warships to the Southern Sea to fight. What's causing all those cannonballs? Oh, it's the Atakabune fighting onto the wooden wall, and Migo even double walling this choke passageway. Very nice use of APM. 3 culverins come out as well to try and engage this Atakabune warship. Managing to pick that off without too much hassle, and you know, Migo's still pushing out on the top side, but he doesn't need to overly push out. His eco's in a good place. Even sending Eco Theory, which, you know, Eco Theory, it benefits your berry gatherers, it benefits your miners, it also benefits the fishing fleet out at sea. And now having, you know, Eco Theory on top is only plus 10%, so not as good as Gil Nets, but these upgrade cards are continuously rolling, and I'd like to see Migo going for even more fishing boats to the south side. I know that he's probably stocked at a round number, 20 fishing boats, but there's 6 whales here, so that can support 24 fishing boats. But there's also so much food as well, and if you split most of your boats onto the whales, you can prolong that food. I would like to see players go up to about 30 boats, 32 possibly. Right, Nagi Nasa switch coming in from iamturk, and actually going on top of the castles here. Migo spending lots of resources in these culverins just to take down 1 warship, but apart from that, not really contributing too much to the fight here, and it's actually slowing down the army. It's forcing the fight, and this Nagi switch is so strong. Disciplines Nagis, even organ guns coming out, and actually, right, that's a nice adaptation from India bots. Organ guns behind all these Castadors and Dragoons. The Castadors actually now probably best to use as meat shields for the Dragoons. Protect the goons, take down the Nagis, and the organ guns will deal with these Ashy Garrers, but so much HP on these units, and they just ignore the Castadors, and poor Castadors just overrun by the Japanese army. 8 Castors shipped, and they needed to be shipped. They needed to be on the field to reinforce from these Ashigaru Musketeers. iamturk, having great vision on the Koi mines due to the shrines he has on the map, is now starting to push onto this north town centre. It's already lost 3,000 HP to a previous push. A couple of Conchas trying to work as well, and raising Nagi Natas on the top side as well, seeing what they can get done. And a few villagers exposed in this Koi mine, only 3. But it's giving info to Migo of where to kind of send Dragoons to help counter. But he's very happily taking down his Ashes, but losing lots of Dragoons as well. This is still really close. I feel that Migo, if he commits a little bit harder to the sea a little bit earlier, he can just get so much more value out of it, and will be rolling in the resources. Another batch of walking guns. I know that you have the sea and have so much income, but not many Dragoons here actually. And you know, the Nagis could have actually engaged the Dragoons. Like they're now running away, which is, you know, good play. But they were close enough to actually go to hand combat versus these guys. And you know, Dragoons range resist, no hand combat resist. Could have actually picked off. Could have lost a few units here, and you know, Nagis could have picked off the organ guns while they're right on top of those artillery pieces. Units in key, 1 frigate, very important. Frigate being trained from the dock. He's now seen the fishing fleet from Turk and knows that he needs to try and contest this. Even a Matashima Maru, one of the Japan's frigate equivalents, being trained as well. So action in north, action to the south, but organ guns now taking down these Ashigaros, and those +12s flying everywhere. It's now just Nagis and Dragoons, and I guess the Nagis can take down the organ guns, but this Dragoon count from Migo is impressive, but it's also necessary. The Dragoon count protects the organ guns, and there's still 4 organ guns fighting, and yeah, who needs Castadors when he can go pure organ gun Dragoon? Another Atakabune shipment in the centre, but it's not. It just feels like that's not doing anything. That this time, this should be on the Southern Sea. Right, engagement between the frigates and the Maru frigates of the Japan Civ. Very even stats. If anything, the slight edge is going towards the European frigates here. Town centre going down from Turk on the north side. Migo pushing in with more organ guns, dragoons. A couple of these villagers now exposed out in the open. Only having 150 HP here. No Eastern medicine just yet. Organ guns engaging with a nice Yumi ball. Can he get a big volley off here? Not as much as he wanted to. But Nagi's popping out on top of these organ guns and managed to pick off a couple of Yumis here, but actually these Nagis on top of the organ guns actually in combat with the dragoons as well. So losing organs when he really ought to have not, but so many expensive cavalry units from Turk going down, and these dragoons having their dragoon combat plus 20% HP attack and their ranged cavalry caracol. These guys are very, very strong. And villagers now being caught out by his dragoons. No HP upgrade here. They go down very quickly. Double minutes being sent. And now that it's all looking favourable for Migo, refrigeration's been sent, but guess what? He's got lots of vills and the berries. Lots of vills and berries at home, and definitely mill as well, so a very nice shipment at this point of the game. And looks like he's in a handy job of winning the sea battle as well. That frigate did go down in the end. Decided to win that, and was that Culverins picking off the was it the Atacubanes in the centre? And yes, it was. Migo just outclassing Turkey in this game, and very, very impressive so far. And it's going to take a miracle for Turk to come and back, but this veteran Hussar switch with the Cav combats on is going to be that nail in the coffin. And iamturk types GG and resigns. I don't often type GG well played, but I was very impressed by Migo's play style there, and showing that, you know, water is still an option. You see how his first priority was the trading post line, even if it was just to buy time. You saw how Turk managed to get 3 trading posts at one point. That bought time for Migo to push out into the water, and you can see one whale here, another whale, and there's 3 more on the Japan player's side. But still fish were available for Migo, so you could have had more boats out onto the water. Stopping at 20 fishing boats is nice, but when your fishing boats are, you know, there's still only 70 wood, but you have a big eco behind, just trading routes. Could have gone more fishing boats here. But you just see how Migo spread out very fast, getting all that map control and controlled the important points. And actually, he didn't really care about these shrines from iamturk. He's like, okay, you can have the shrines, no biggie. I'm going to have my better eco with the other techs like the Bakti Temple, multiple town centres, siege, trading posts. Yeah, really well played from Migo. And even training enough Culverins, and I liked how towards the end of the game Migo switched from Dragoon Castador into Dragoon organ guns. That essentially forced iamturk to go into Naginatas to try and pick off the organ guns, but Nagi's expensive and Dragoons were getting some very good trades versus the Naginata riders. There's your population in favour of Migo as well, because of iamturk having shrines. No vills sent. Okay, maybe a single... Yeah, no villager shipment sent in the second age from iamturk. iamturk went 600 wood, 600 coin age up. No 4 vills there. Did send the 7 vills later on. All resources gathered. It was ahead for India Bot. You can see kind of that middle fortress age just had so many resources. And it just only increased and increased at a faster rate, and was diverging away from iamturk's eco. And Japan felt a little kind of contained with their eco, especially when Migo had all those boats on the sea uncontested, really, or when it was contested. Migo was very quick to defend. And a very good trade here, and this India Bot losing a few units here and there, lost lots of castles multiple times, but this fight was once those Ashigaras pushing to that north TC, Mamelukes pop in, picking off the flaming arrows and snaring the entire Ashi mass, and the Dragoons and castles came in to clean up. Good fight from iamturk, This was when all the castles was dropped, but afterwards, organ guns and dragoons were the units of choice from Migo and just demolished Japan army afterwards. So yeah, really well played. I really enjoyed that game. That was a really, really good game. So the next map in this map pool is Kamchatka Summer variation, not the winter one. Nice comment from commentator Clutch in the chat. Doesn't it ring alarm bells that the Portuguese had much more water presence, map presence, trade line, and the north side, and it was still a fairly close game? And it was, but the reason why it was a close game and it appeared to be, why it was a bit difficult for Migo is that Migo was very spread out, and Turk invested into his military much faster than Migo, and so the Japan had a stronger military in early AoE3, but once that eco started to really kick in, Indiabot could go into artillery as well, quite expensive to field. Nilla Ninjas, Turk. Yeah, Nilla Ninjas to pick next. Yeah, but once Migo had enough income coming in, you could see how he sent the Mamelukes. He didn't have to send the 1,000 coin to then send the Mamelukes. Just sent the Mamelukes in. So many castles and dragoons reinforcing at that point. Good trade there. And that was when his eco was really kicking in. And then once he got to the ability to train artillery and go dragoons with the ranged cavalry caracol and the cavalry combat, he was then able to overpower. And I think iamturk had multiple Atakabune shipments. As far as I'm aware, the Atakabunes play the role as galleon from the era Civs. They could have been sent to the south side of the sea. They're resistant to building fire and could have actually taken down Migo's docks. And with no docks, you're not training any more frigates, and you could have actually took complete control of the southern sea. And if that was the case, I think iamturk would have been in a much stronger position. But I suppose you can only ship your ships to certain locations on the map, and you need to think very carefully of where you're doing. You saw Migo sending that frigate into the middle pond, but got sniped by those flaming arrows very quickly. A 3-shot kill from those flaming arrows. That was a really unfortunate ship there from Migo. I don't think he realised how powerful those flaming arrows were. And even lots of players in the chat saying GG, well played to Migo, and yeah, I have to certainly agree from those as well. Right, let's click in. Right guys, about to join into game number 3. We're on Kamchatka, and we are having a lovely treat for us today. It's going to be an Indian Mirror. A matchup we haven't seen so far in the EPL 2, I believe. So in the third week, it's about time we get an Indian Mirror. And I suppose we don't see many mirror matchups in this tournament due to how the Civ selection rule works out. One macaque being picked up for both players. Freitag, the pet macaque here, is a free pickup, but Duba, the pet monkey, is now guarded by 2 snow monkeys. A bit of inconsistency here. I'm not too sure if that needs to be altered or not moving forward, but both players getting a Freitag, or no, the Freitag hasn't been picked up for Migo just yet, but iamturk sending both his explorers to that middle. Both players desperately fighting for the goat's control, but Migo actually may be able to steal these 2 goats, and that's going to be a nice pickup here. Livestock from the Indian player provides experience, so the more goats you have, the more shipments, just the more tempo and the advantage you'd have. Turk working on a 40 wood treasure from one tiger, so not the greatest, but managing to walk away with all 4 goats. The disrespect from Migo here. Kamchatka is usually a very balanced map, just checking the coin mines. 4 nearby for both players, and the hunt seemed to be plentiful, so I'm happy with this map balance. And let us carry on and see, as we go through the game, what treasures the players discover. 45 coins to the south. Both players choosing to not go for the 80 coin, and makes sense. This early stage in the game, 80 coin has no benefits to the Indian Civ. All woods they gather in that first stage is just going into more villager production, so that they can just continue, well, vill production. And once they have enough vills, just get onto food so they can age up as fast as possible. Market play from India is very rarely seen, if not never seen. Yeah, iamturk working his way over to a 85 wood treasure. Has a 5 HP macaque as well, being healed up very quickly by the monks there. He needs to keep that macaque to come in after that first shot's been tanked from the explorer, so that the macaque can do some good damage, but won't get picked off here. Migo coming in actually for the treasure still. I'm not too sure you've seen it, but actually he could get there first, but I think Turk's just beaten to it. So iamturk's going to pick up 85 wood, and rightfully so, because he did take down the treasures. It feels only fair that he does get the wood treasure, but this is a tournament game, and sportsmanship. Okay, sportsmanship in the game goes out the window in this case. Migo wants to try and do everything he can to pick up this game and win, and it's the same for iamturk. iamturk is sending one villager forward, and he's looking to drop an aggro in this place here. Interesting. You usually see players trying to drop aggro forts in this area in the middle map just to kind of control it, but actually it's quite obvious that location can always be picked off, but deciding to pull back a little bit and go for the aggro fort on this side of the river. Can herds this elk treasure towards his aggro fort a little bit, but not overly pushing out so far at the moment. And it's the same story for Migo this other side, so I'm not expecting early aggro war fights in the middle of the map. And both players maybe wanting to go for a more of an economic playstyle. I suppose going for like a sepoy all-in push early in Age 2 is out the window, because your opponents can just train Gurkhas, send Minutemen from the Ottoman consulate, train Minutemen from the town centre, and just India has lots of tools at their disposal for defending rushes. And you can't really rush an opponent with Gurkhas, because that's not really as scary as sepoys. And then Gurkhas can get picked off by Ottoman Hussars or Force Hours. I'm actually expecting a fast industrial from both players, and I did see that Sompu Konku is in the chat. He's been delighted to see an Indian Mirror here, his favourite Civ, and the good news for Sompu is that one of the Indian players is guaranteed to win, so Indians are going to pick up a first win for a bit of a while. There has been some balance changes to Indian Civs, and let's see if I can remember all of them this game. Or I'll talk about the balance changes if they do happen in the game, shall I say. There's no point talking about some arbitrary change if it doesn't occur. Let's see what both players are doing in the meantime, though. Markets for both players in transition. Full first tier upgrades in from Migo. iamturk is going for civil servants, and knowing iamturk playstyle, I think iamturk's going to go straight into imperial bureaucracy from here, but at the moment doesn't have enough resources. You could sell a single batch of food here just to get that coin to try and get that tech in faster, but may go for something like hunting eagles in the meantime just to time over. But both players looking for that imperial bureaucracy upgrade at some point. And well, Migo is actually just ahead in market upgrades already, and where has this come from? Both players have got equal villager pop. Migo just popping out his next villager already, and iamturk though slightly fast age up, sends in foreign login as first card. A really boomy card here from iamturk. India bot can really do the same thing here. Foreign login. Other options would be diplomatic intrigue, get the consulate down, go for the Ottoman allies, and research the 4 villagers. recalculated population of both players are very even. Similar builds, similar cars being shipped with wood trickles, but the Architects slightly in favour of Indiebots at the moment. But iamturk going for Imperial Bureaucracy, and how many times have we seen iamturk go for Imperial Bureaucracy as the Asian civs ahead of techs like Hunting Eagles, Flume and Ditching, those kind of techs. Constant down for both players. iamturk 600 wood afterwards. Indiebot 300 export, and this is a deviation, and wasn't expecting 600 wood here from iamturk, if I have to say. Sending 600 wood after foreign login feels little strange. Obviously, you got all this extra wood from that time that foreign login has been on the floor, but that 600 wood provides you that tempo. You can spend less time actually chopping wood, get your Architects in faster, infrastructure down faster, houses, consulate down, and then that XP then pushes that shipment a little bit forwards, and could even gone 600 woods into the export and then into foreign login. Villagers being researched on Migo, so Migo's eco is going to be slightly ahead from iamturk's at the moment. It looks like iamturk has just been going for military production at this point. He has quite a few Gurkhas on the field. The 2 sepoys from the age up, but trained 8 Gurkhas since, and got the caravan outside, which is the Indian stable behind. Looking to go into maybe Zambaraks at this point, but look at Migo's resource bank. He hasn't really been trained too many units. He's added a few tactical wars here and there to try and delay any push coming from Turk, but just has so much more resources than what Turk has, and will be advancing a little bit faster, even sending 600 coin, which at this point could have cancelled, but this coin may be able to help fund the advance up to the industrial age. Let's look at what he's going up with. Taj Mahal coming in from the Indian player, that will provide him 800 coin on the age up to the Fortress Age, as well as access to the Ceasefire ability. iamturk, though, will be dropping his Wonder very, very soon, nearly getting the resources for it. We'll have to find out what he's going for. Also, the Taj Mahal, and I think one of the reasons why Migo had that slightly better eco early on was the kind of the early Architects, but the order that the Architects came in, going for both the hunting upgrades and also both the food upgrades, the mine upgrades, before Imperial Bureaucracy. iamturk had some idle time on his market while waiting for that tech, but his villagers weren't already teched up on the other market techs to try and get those resources in. And Migo's, it's really hard to say in terms of like who's ahead in terms of the score, but it feels like Migo's ahead, slightly ahead of resources, but now the villagers did come in there for iamturk, and we're back to even Stevens after 10 minutes. True no rush 10 gameplay coming at you from ESOC TV. Let's follow these Gardener Hussars and see anything interesting is going to be picked up for these guys. Probably the most action on the field right now this second, and Gardener Hussars being also teched up to the veteran status with the Royal upgrade on top as well. So veteran Hussars with 10% plus attack and HP. Decent line of sight on these units. We'll be able to scout everything. Try and go for a one villager raid here. You can see he's going for that raid, but once he sees the skirmishers and sepoys, we'll be backing out and trying to get away from these elephants. Although nothing done there from Migo, I think he feels quite happy seeing Gurkhas on the floor from iamturk. Realised that his opponent has spent a bit of resources in early Age 2 defense, but actually is not going to be useful. And Migo with that coin from the Taj Mahal, aging up to the Industrial Age. iamturk, coin from the Taj Mahal again, is also looking to age up to the Industrial Age. So fast industrials from both players, and let's see what both players go up with now. Charminar Gate for both players. British ally has been researched and the British consulate has been increased from a 5% HP bonus to 7%, so slightly extra HP for units on, just to try and give a bit of a just generic buff to military units in general. And we see Sepoy is currently sat at 192 HP before the disciplines Sepoys coming in. Would Indiabot really have time to go for the British East India Company upgrade? I don't think so. I think when you get to that 4th age, it's just Yurumi all the way. 10 Yurumi, so 9 with the Mansabdar, 9 Infinite Yurumi, 14 Sepoys as well. Team Shivaji's Tactics is a very small units upgrade for all the units, but it does, you know, buff your Yurumi. But I don't think that will be sent anytime soon for both players, because it's a long-term shipment. But I feel that you kind of want that power spike, and Migo's pushing out fast, and I'm not too sure if pushing out fast here is. He has got the age advantage, and actually he has, you know, clocked that some of these units from Turk were invested into Gurkhas, so pushing out with Ottoman Hussars and Mahout Lancers, disciplined Sepoys joining in. Turk, though, pivoting to the 4th age with a 7 Yurumi shipment in transition. So these will auto text to the guard status, but 10 Yurumi and that Mansabdar Yurumi is also coming in. Which was the Mansabdar? That's the Mansabdar there. Trying to zoom in on that guy and see how this guy looks compared to the others. You can tell by that kind of golden cloth he's got instead, but apart from that, it's really hard to kind of pick out which one is the one you need to focus down. I suppose it has got the headband on as well. See that little kind of unit color headband? That's how you can tell it's the Mansabdar in comparison. And he also doesn't have a shield. Interesting. So the unit with no shield has 820 HP. That's Age of Empires logic for you. Town centre being thrown down mid-map for Migo. British East India Company coming in behind the 10 Yurumi regiment, and that's just buffing these Sepoys. And this upgrade is a really nice upgrade, but iamturk with the 7 Yurumi, 10 Yurumi. At the moment, his army is the stronger army, but will struggle to deal with those Ottoman Hussars actually. And it's one of those compositions I'm not too sure both players are fully appreciating how strong these Hussars are, especially in the 4th age. These came out ages ago in that transition. One Hussar a little bit ahead though from the rest of the gang, and I'm not liking this. Just imagine if you're still on that, if you're still on the Ottoman allies at the moment, and just send another batch of those Ottoman Hussars, maybe squeeze in intervention shipments, and then transition to the British consulate later on. You could kind of have a similar mass to what you have now, at the expense of maybe that 600 coins, so a little bit of a tempo disadvantage, but you could have something along the lines of another 8 Hussars in the field. And you need to remember the Ottoman consulate was recently buffed, or shall I say the intervention shipments. 5 gardeners are sent instead of 4 gardeners, and a few other changes as well we have seen, but will not be affecting this game. Both players though choosing to not include it in their deck. Turk getting Royal Green Jackets instead, and I think iamturk is happy with the Gurkha Yurumi combo, and is probably relying on Indiabot for going Sepoys. And this Guard Hussar has just picked off 2 vills, those villagers, and both players now frantically getting in their villager HP as well. That's kind of cute. iamturk still on 202 HP. Ottoman consulate coming in, has the resources now to go for a batch of units, and there's a push coming in. Bombards! It's the Ottoman Bombards instead of the Hussars. I was wondering what was coming in. Wow, I didn't realise that. And Migo has called for the ceasefire straight away, and he's running out of there. Sepoys leading the charge. Honoured Sepoys blocking from the Yurumi Swordsman. But actually, probably Yurumi Swordsman wants to kind of body block, and it's going to be a Yurumi Swordsman face-off here. Mahouts are being picked off by the Great Bombards, and this is a pure Yurumi army from iamturk, sends in 7 Yurumi, 10, and then 9 Bombards to cover. How do you do with these Yurumi? Like, a full-on Mahout switch would absolutely wreck this combo, but Yin Team players not known for going for cavalry. And petards? Petards! We have petards running towards the Charminar gates, and there's only a few sentries here, and that's not going to be enough to take these guys down. And Charminar gate, only 3 sepoys are needed. Petards, that's a massive overkill there, but focusing on micro down to the south side, Yurumi and Gurkhas engaging. Still AoE3 Gurkhas though. 2 Mahouts on the field. British consulates up, and I think there's a place for those Ottoman Hussars actually still, and 2 of those Guard Hussars still standing. More sepoys raiding north side though. This Hussar has scouted out these villagers, and if Indiabot can survive this push and get good off raid, I think he'd be in a good position. Okay, Yurumi from Migo leads in the charge into iamturk's Yurumi, but Yurumi facing each other off is not really what you want, but bloody hell, look at those Ottoman bombards coming in. Siege elephants being trained for the castle to take on the bombards. These sepoys are still doing lots of damage from range, and 5 Yurumi get taken down by that bombard shot. That is absolutely savage from the Ottoman bombards there, and even more Avoras coming in, and the sepoys are now going to get picked off very easily by the Yurumi and bombard combination. And wow, these Ottoman bombards so strong. iamturk not even sending good faith agreements to get the Ottoman bombards. This is a research technology instead of a unit shipment. And that's where we might see Migo. Yeah, so Migo sent the petards and the 3 Ottoman Huss, while Turks pushing with just the 2 bombards. But that raid north side, quite a few villagers going down, and these are guard units. They're very strong, 41 range attack. But if you're going to lose, you're still at risk of losing your entire sepoy mass in base, and your eco's kind of running around at this point. Turks got that military advantage, and 105 to 40, you can see it. Gurk has been sent to try and defend. Both players now squeezing in Team Shivaji's tactics at basically the same time. More Turkvilles going down. Army in Migo's base engaging. It's really tough at this point to call what's going on. 10 vills have gone down. Okay, 12 vills now gone down for Turk. 4 from Migo. 2 were from that Guard Hussar raid earlier, but there's still a couple units. Okay, another Yurumi shipment cleaning up those sepoys and actually losing. Okay, I think those sepoys have just come back. Mansabdar sepoy out on the field, but there's still disciplined sepoys from Turk, and a whole army of Yurumis coming in and reinforcing Yurumis from behind. They're AFK at the moment. He needs those Yurumis. Okay, Yurumi popped from Migo on top of the Gurkhas sepoys, but those Ottoman bombards are still alive, and that's what you exactly want versus this composition which Migo has. Targeting the consulate, bit of a mistake there. He needs to micro his bombards, and that's what he does now. He's turning that attention back onto Migo's units, and it's just another volley coming off from there from the bombards. But those Yurumis, they're coming in and actually picking off the siege elephants. This is huge. Yurumis counter siege elephants because these guys are the light cavalry tag, and with no siege elis, bombards unchallenged can just sit in the base. GG caught by Migo, and oh, what a game that was, going to iamturk. Action all over the park, but a very interesting strategy from both players. Both players realizing the optimal strategy here is a fast industrial, but both players taking different paths to get to that final place. Migo getting that earlier 300 export shipment, earlier vills. That 600 coin was a little skeptical, especially when you're going for your wood trickle, your 4 vills, full market techs as well at this point. You could trade your resources at the market a little bit faster just to get that extra income. And you know you're aging up with the Taj Mahal, which gives you the 800 coin as well. So that 600 coin could have been skipped totally from Migo, and could have been another. Could have been a 7 Yurumi pivot shipments, or maybe squeezing in that, squeezing in the India East Company shipments during that time, and then instead of this shipment at 1330, just have it as another 9 Yurumi swordsman. But I think Migo was ahead in tempo all the way because Turk built those extra units in the colonial age, stayed on the Ottoman consulate for a while. Just that great bombard push. That was so. I knew there were some units raising to the top side, but when I came back, I was expecting Urumi versus Urumi even trade-off, but those bombards, they just turn up out of nowhere and just wreck everything. Migo's army was pure infantry, apart from those 2 Mahouts on the age up and the remaining Ottoman Hussars, because he went for that early transition to the British consulate. Stunned is the expression, I think. That was a really good game. You can just see Migo's army getting absolutely demolished due to those bombards. I think 1 bombard volley picked off 6 Urumi swordsmen there and then, and Urumi swordsmen are one of the strongest units in the game. It's certainly very tough units to counter, but artillery is the biggest way to counter them, and you had the biggest and the best from the Ottoman consulates to deal with that. Migo ahead in the all resources graph quite comfortably, and that is probably as a result of Migo's crisper build. But it only really got ahead after the 4th age, and I think that's when the action started to happen, and a bit of raiding in Turk's base with a few of those Hussars, and then sepoy raids later on. You can see that villager count is just better for IndiaBot, but look at iamturk. He stopped training villagers a few times, and I think iamturk was just purely focused in that military production at that point, and saving resources for Yumis and just ahead in population and just ahead in that fight. And once in Migo's base, just nowhere coming back there. So really good game there. Yeah, Madu's playing, iamturk. There you go, that's the match I want. Even labeling the game as 1v1, that's just a habit from both players. Manchuria is the next map. And it's going to be the SKG to pick. Migo, locking in as the French civilization. Will Turk go for German here? Turk has played a few French mirrors so far this tournament. Maybe feeling quite happy for a French mirror at this place. Also does offer sea opportunities here. It is a Civ reset, by the way. We could see Turk going for another Japan play as well. Could be saving Japan for Bering Straits, though, mind you. Rather beast in the chat, time to nerf bombards, and after today's showing, I think there's a lot of things on the list which need looking at. There's flaming arrows, multipliers versus ships, bombards being sent from the Ottoman consulates, Indian FI in general. I'm not going to read out Imperial Noob's comment, but that's quite funny. Mini Molt. After watching this game, I think India was guaranteed to win, so they need to be nerfed. iamturk going for the Japan pick, so not using Japan on Bering Straits. I'm going to be used versus IndiaBot's French playstyle. So I'll let the players know if it's a good luck, have fun case, and we're going to get going into Manchuria game number 4. One, two, three, one. One. That's technically. That's herdable. That's herdable. It's back safe. I'll take this map spawn. It's not the most perfect, but it's good enough for it to be relatively perfect. Where's that gold mine? Okay, gold mine is spawned here. All the other mines on the map are silver mines. So welcome back, guys. Game number 4. Turk leading the game series 2-1. Migo playing as a French civilization, spawning to the southwest of the map in the colour teal. He's gone for an early trading post, signifying a wood start from both players. iamturk countering with a Japanese pick, spawning into the northeast of the map in the colour red. Early consulate coming down from Turk again. Turk seems to favour the consulate start for the Japan Civ on a wood crate start. We have noticed other players playing Japan opting to go for shipments. I think any player will go for 3 fishing boats first shipment on Manchuria specifically, but other players will be going for the early shrines placements instead of going for a Portuguese consulate. Wood treasure being picked up top right, one tiger already down, another tiger being stunned, hoping for a divine strike here to help pick this tiger off. And will we see a divine strike come down before that stun is experienced? And yeah, divine strike, 84 damage. Get wrecked, tiger. This hunt is achievable for India bot. Both players having 3 nearby hunts. This hunt maybe is slightly extra from iamturk, and it is an additional spawn. I think there's meant to be a hunt spawning down here to the south side, but there's enough hunts nearby for Migo to herd in and herd in himself for it to not be an issue too much. Another Divine Strike, one shot in the Lion-tailed Macaque. That is quite funny, that is. But now we've seen the French Explorer from Migo. Quite low HP, actually. Only 150 HP. Could try and trade this off. The other Explorer is far away, so won't be able to assist. Migo pulling in his native scout as well to help do some damage. Decided not to. And I think he's actually going to back off because he realizes he just doesn't want to lose this Explorer this early into Age 1. Three fishing boats, first card from iamturk is standard. Toshoga Shrine placed out front on top of this nice C-roll hunt. Should be able to pull that in. And enough of these Marco Polo ships to shrine as well. So one shrine on these as well. Also got enough yaks to start shrining with these livestock as well. But a very nice, safe, defensive, 2 hunts on the right side. Exactly what the Indian, Japan player would be very happy to see. Like for example, this hunt here on this wood treasure is much closer than this hunt up here, but it's kind of arbitrary because Japan kind of shrine their hunts anyway, so they don't really need that distance. But there's enough hunt here for the French player to work with. Right, both players aging up now. Toshoga Shrine is standard from iamturk. Quartermaster coming in from the French player as well. Mark it down. We do see hunt dogs being researched. Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Shaolin Temple being thrown down by India bots. Not scouted by the Japan player at the moment. If we go into the Fog of War, we see where iamturk is focusing his attention, currently working on a 65 coin treasure. There is that juicy wood treasure for Migo near his base, but his explorer's out in the front, building that train post. Scout moving forward in native. Turk now sees that Migo's gone for natives himself due to this UI. Let's go into units in queue. I'm expecting to see Shaolin Rattan shields being trained straight away from the Shaolin Temple. Did Indiabot go with 14 vil? I think Indiabot went up with 14 vil as standard, but going for an early native TP here and hoping to put on some pressure with this Rattan shields, especially with the wood being gathered up from the quartermaster. Enough wood required to get a batch of 4 out. Hoping for 5 then, but 4 will certainly do the job. These guys, 15 hand attack. Might try and deny this barracks, and that barrack was so close. You see, he has to send another vil out to complete it. He didn't even click on it and actually has to pull it back. He might lose it, and what a timing from Migo to try and deny that barracks. He won't be denied, but it just slows that barracks down by quite a bit. Forcing 9 vils in that town centre as well. I think Migo's actually got a decent value from these Rattan shields already. Certainly put Turk on the back foot and distracted some of his APM, and may have slowed down this gathering of the 600 wood and the resulting shrining. But I want to say Migo is just going to go. Oh, he's still chopping the wood though, and sending 700 wood. Currently working on this 85 wood treasure. Does Migo want to go for the trading post line? If so, this treasure here is nice, but it's not pivotal. He needs to be on that line, TP line straight away. Actually, now that all this wood is in the bank, what do you do with 800 wood? He's going for a dock. All the interesting strategies coming out this series. $700 coin flying up from IndiaBot, so it looks like that wood is going to be invested into water eco. Migo should be aware that Portuguese was in for the iamturk, and there's no bestiarios, so fishing fleet being researched. You can check by iamturk's deck as well, and it's the same deck as on Dakar, like the exact same deck. Fishing boats first shipments, and when your opponent has 6 fishing boats in the water, the caravel being trained now will be a very good decision, and should have had some wood spare from that 700 wood to try and pick off those fishing boats. And this is a kind of a thing to kind of prepare for in the EPL, is expecting what kind of builds are coming up from your opponents. If they go Portuguese consulate, what does that mean? If they go Japan consulate, what does that mean to your build? That could be a really nice pickup from Migo. There's nowhere for these boats to run, especially now that Migo's already on the water and training fishing boats. A caravel doesn't seem too much of an impossibility. Migo just playing very defensive at the moment, just sitting back. Nothing too out the blue to see here. First shipment coming in, 33 pop, 35 pop still coming in. It's going to be a crate shipment, I think. And as IndiaBot's up ahead, do you go coin and age up to the 4th age? Not many age 4 cards here. And you're giving Japan all that time. 1,000 wood still gives Japan time, but you do get that extra eco of the housing being built. Wood for more warship production. Maybe a second town centre on this gold mine in the middle of the map. Successfully herding another hunt to his base. Can herd this other hunt near the Shaolin Temple. It slightly walks towards Migo's base, but needs to get out there before it's shrined by this iamturk's explorer. Turk is looking to try and shrine Migo's hunts in this situation. 1,000 wood on the floor for Migo. That explorer is not in a place to drop down a second town centre, or is not in a good place just yet if he wants to do so. He does have a... Is that a caravel icon? I think it is a caravel icon in the units in queue. Now that fishing boat's been completed, one caravel is about to come up, and does he see the fishing boat from the line of sight of the home city flag? I think he does, It's hard to fully confirm that because of the line of sight of what the fishing boats, but if that is what's prompted IndiaBot to go for the caravel here, then that's really unlucky from iamturk. You don't have a choice where these spawn. You can move them around, but you don't know where your other opponent's flag is at any one point. So unlucky there, but I feel that should have been a decision taken a little bit earlier on that 700 wood. But saving it for 1,000 wood is also, I cannot argue with that playstyle, and the fact that he's got a caravel out in the water punishing Japan, Portuguese consulate and the 3 fishing boats first card is a really good play in general. And actually the broadside attack could be enough to take all these fishing boats off in one shot. You can see he's actually having to run all these boats in different locations of the water, but will require a bit of micro to actually take on all these boats. Migo successfully defending his train post, or should I say, taking down a shrine and rebuilding the train post himself. Looks like he's not trying. He's got his explorer nearby the train post, so if he does have enough wood, he could go for his own TP play. But I don't think that's the case just yet. But he does have 14 builds gathering wood at the moment. 1,000 coin from IndiaBot behind this, so both crate shipments. The 1,000 coins very impactful after 1,000 wood, because you have all that extra infrastructure down from that wood shipment. But I think most of that infrastructure was being spent on, well, caravel, more fishing boats, a stable, and a couple of houses, as well as that train post. So that 1,000 wood gets spent very, very quickly. It's nice to see, though. Migo is really focusing all his boats, and that fishing boat goes flying into the sea, and that cannonball was so strong that that fishing boat went underneath the land as well. I think most of these fishing boats from iamturk have actually been idle since that caravel has joined the water. So although he's ran these fishing boats around, hasn't managed to pick off. But I think Migo might not be aware that one's still alive. I don't blame him for losing track of how many he's killed, because he's certainly killed enough as it is. But that's certainly crippled Japan's eco at sea. And now that Migo sent 1,000 wood, 1,000 coin, he just has that nice momentum to kind of roll into his military unit production. Even sending cav combat now, had actually chopped wood with 12 villagers intentionally just to get the resources required for the 3 TP stagecoach. So the 3rd TP being built now has enough army to defend the TPs. Hopefully stagecoach coming in, but a big Yumi Archer mass here from iamturk, and there's no QSAs just yet from Migo. These dragoons are not essentially useful at the moment, and that's just going to spark Injibot to change his strategy straight away, because continuing Skirm Goon into pure Yumi at this point and a few Ashes is maybe not what he needs. Could go for artillery at this point, considering you have the efficient eco to yourself. You have TP stagecoach on either wood or coin. Could go QSS as well. I think QSS is the first play you'd want to go for. It's just easy to transition with the cav combat and the stable play behind it. Discipline Unit is pushing out. Bestiaire is coming in as well, instead of going to Japan and going for the clubman, and I prefer the Japan isolation into the Konsha Yamabushis. Falconets being sent out here for Migo, but I think these flaming arrows should be able to pick off these falconets quite easily, and a volley comes in onto the Curie de Bois actually instead of a skirmisher, I think. No, one skirmisher going down there. And that's just what, this is why that's kind of Cuyasares needs to come out, and actually Injibot is under a lot of pressure. He needs a second barracks to try and bolster his skirmisher count and then go into QSR production at this point. One skirming Q, please let it be a QSR coming out from the stable. Okay, Dragoons moving forward, sniping down the flaming arrows, and both those flaming arrows are down actually from iamturk before those falconets even picked off. Both falconets low HP, 50 HP and a 50 HP. Yeah, good micro there from Injibot. iamturk should have done a little bit better with those flaming arrows picking off those falconets. These are just 2 huge units to leave on their own, and if Injibot was really thinking about strategy and logic at this point, instead of having to frantically work that macro, could even go for a church and get a priest out to heal back up those falconets. Another 2 flaming arrow shipment from iamturk. iamturk going 7 then double flaming arrow shipment, but like similar to that Dakar game. Look at Portuguese's playstyle. He's got eco in his base with all the villagers. He's got eco on the sea for transition onto the water, and he's got the stagecoach play to the west as well. So he's got eco in 3 different locations, and it's hard for Turk to kind of punish all of it. And the economy for Injibot is just stronger than that of iamturk at the moment. The church does come down. We do see the priest, and it was actually, if I remember correctly, it was Injibot himself who previously got the church down and priest. So may actually want to put these guys into their travel mode, shall I say, and get them away from the front line and into the safety. You don't want the priest and the falconet to be picked off by these bestiaires. Actually turning around for it, another snipe, getting 2 kills there for free, and Injibot is... Turk is a really good opponent, but Injibot's been playing super well, even getting 2 priests. He knows how important it is to get the heal on these guys super fast, so both Falconets getting revived or healed back up to their full HP stats. You know, priests only costing 150 coin, relatively expensive, but it's cheaper to heal the Falconets than having to retrain another 2 from an artillery foundry. Top level strats coming from India bots. Villagers coming forward from iamturk. That's a misclick I've ever seen. So what was he trying to do? What was he looking for? I was looking for a town centre and the silver mine. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vills going for a Wanda. Luckily to not get picked off, but going for that mid-map control on the silver mine. We do need to think though. Migo is starting to run dangerously low on coin. 1,000 coin mine in this coin remaining. No control over this gold mine in the middle of the map. Does have eco on the sea though. You know, there's 2 nearby hunts which Migo can push onto. Both relatively safe, especially because you have CDBs, and then you can have all these fishing boats onto the whales. I'm surprised that Turk hasn't even sent the Atakabune shipments just yet. Turk knows there's a caravel in the water, and when he moved those fishing boats around, he saw that Migo was on the water training fishing boats himself, and those 2 Atakabunes would be a very strong shipment at the moment. Royal Mint from India bot. I'm not feeling that. It's only benefiting these villagers on the silver mine at the moment, and plantations when he eventually puts it down. He still has a coin income from his fishing boats. He's now pushing out, getting control of the gold mine, but actually pushing into iamturk's next town centre. You see iamturk's pulled his army to deal with the stagecoach, and that's just giving time for Migo to push out his base. And a big Cuirassier raid going straight into the base, and actually will pick up 5 vills for his troubles. iamturk once again forgetting his greatcoats, shall I say. Only guessing it once he sees the danger, but too late, son. Those vills had already gone down. Did Migo have a Skirm combat card he could have sent? He could have sent Skirm attack. I think Skirm attack would have been a better card than Royal Mint at this point. But we do see a big engagement. Pardon me, trying to close that window as fast as possible. And there's just so many skirmishes here now. iamturk has massed into disciplined Ashy Garys, but is now trading off his Yumi Archers with a far superior skirmisher mass in terms of numbers. And actually, these skirmishers, counter infantry rifling, perfectly adapted to deal with these Ashy Gary mass. And villagers in the town centre got to get picked off by this town centre going down. 2 vills already down already. That's another 2 there, so 4. The 5th vill has gone down just then, and remember that there was 5 vills in Turk's base which went down the wood line. So good pickup here. Migo on 70 vil recalc economic population with still 1 TP to his name. Gathering out on the water undisturbed. Does have the gill nets, and even again long lines. Very well done for Migo remembering long lines, and it's come at a great time as well, and it's so beneficial, that shipment. That is 30% plus on your food and your coin income from the fishing boats, and when you have this many boats, and we'll have a quick see, but let's check on the military engagement just yet. 19 boats from India bots, so again Migo's getting to that 20 boats limit. He feels very comfortable, and on this map 20 boats feels the right number due to there only being 4 whales. You still have enough of those fishing boats afterwards to go onto the fishies. Even if bringing the priests forward, these guys very tanky. 360 HP, 10% range resist. Flaming Arrows finally now picking off those Falconets, but not before the Falconets getting a good volley on those split jimmies. 5 Cuirassiers charging in, cav combat, cavalry Cuirassiers on the way, but engaging on top of onto the Yumi Archers. Those Ashy Garys not perfectly placed. Yumi Dragoons actually going in to snipe down the Flaming Arrows. More Flaming Arrows being trained behind us, but you need to remember, skirmishers now with the Wilderness Warfare cards, 20% HP bonus up to 168. Counter infantry rifling, so essentially combat, but a different way of going about it. Skirm HP and then the counter infantry versus the Ashy Garys, and you just see, I think, more Cuirassiers need to be trained here from India bots to kind of complete this composition, and that's what we see. 5 QSS will be joining the field. Any more QSS being trained, and another 3 QSS trained, so 5 joining. Double batch of skirmishers joining as well, but another 3 from the stable being retrained, and I think at this point there's not enough Ashes here to do with 8 QSS if they do come out, and even all these CDBs getting on top of this fight as well. Ashes closing in on top of the Dragoons, going hand combat. These Dragoons need to get out of there. Not very good in hand combat, but skirmishers though, firing, did so much damage. These CDBs actually picking off a flame arrow themselves and drawing so much fire, but now the cavalry is reinforcing. All those Ashes cleaned up, and Migo leading in both the military pop and the eco pop, but the military pop is so decisively in his favour. He's got to push out now, and so he should. Turk only has Yumi archers to his name behind this. QSS has been reinforced using Q. 10 QSS in Q. 5 just popped out from home stable. Another 5 popped out from the middle stable. And how do you deal with like 15 QSS in a short amount of time? Spoilers, you don't. And I think iamturk's in deep trouble here. Nagi now to rider hit points have just been sent, but where are the Nagis? Is there like a Nagi switch somewhere? I don't see the Nagis on the field. I just see a few Conchas out and about. 5 being trained, catching these QSS and snaring them, providing a little bit of a rest break for these Yumis, but nope, there's still 7 QSS on this side. All the villages going down, all the Yumis going down, and I have to say, well played from Migo. This was really top level gameplay coming out. Villagers idled all over. Not much iamturk can do to get back into it. Does have the 10 disciplines Nagi Natas with that Nagi HP card, and that's what he sent. And is he going out for a raid at this point? Looks like so, but he's sacking his entire town centre for this. And Nagis in combat will melt versus the German QSS and Dragoons. I think Nagis could have come early just to try and tank a little bit, but in terms of offensively, don't do very good. But that should be GG, all those fields going down. Double batch of Nagis, so respectable Nagi mass here, 19 Nagi Natas. But, you know, Courier says Cav Combat and the Cavalry Couriers as well, so you could argue more upgraded than what the Nagi Natas are at this point. And you see the Nagi's going for the push here, but there's so many Couriers and Dragoons that I'm sure we're going to see the resonation from iamturk coming out very, very soon. Both these units have the same attack, but the QSS have the splash damage as well, and slightly more HP. So they tank a little bit better, but also Dragoon support behind. And I kind of want to type the GG, and yeah, iamturk does type GG there, so I'm happy for the typing the GG well played. As if that game continued any longer, I may have had to step in. That was really well played from IndiaBot there. I can't even stress how much it's a struggle to play against the Japanese civilization, but Migo makes it look so easy. Remembering the fishing eco on the sea was vulnerable from the Japanese player, built his own dock and started booming on the sea with 700 wood. 1,000 wood came to help continue that production, but started off though with 1 caravel being trained, caravel picking up 6 fishing boats, and that's just provided, well, cut Japan's eco, provided more res available on the sea for Migo to pick up. Had the 3 TP stagecoach for a while, giving resources there and then iamturk had that Yumi archer mass and started to push out, but by the time he was pushing out, falconets were sent, defended, good defense. The flame arrows did pick up the falconets, good exchanges in Migo's base. Church came out, 2 priests healed up the falconets as well. And then pushing out again, getting good trades. And then once that QSS switch happened, it happened quite late on, to be honest. That real mint shipment, again, unsure about that. But towards the end of the game, it looks like it paid. I'm still unsure about that royal mint shipment, I have to say. but that Wilderness Warfare card, really smart. Those skirmishers did so much work underneath this town centre, tanking so much damage on those Yumi archers, and completely outclassed Yumi archers. There was no daimyo support. Only way of the bow was on the buffing those Yumi archers as well at the Golden Pavilion, and then that final QSR switch just brought Migo down. You can just see once he started pushing out with that military advantage of the Wilderness Warfare, then the QSR switch, 5 Qs picking up the first raid, skirmishers the second, and then in the base just total demolition. And military unit population engaging on that town centre with much more military pop. iamturk was essentially forced to engage in his own town centre. Took a few fights beforehand, but lost a few of those units. And you can see how, in that middle of the fight, he lost quite a lot of those Yumi archers and Gary musketeers, and looks like he had some other units at home, not in that fight, and that's why iamturk lost that battle, and then just crushing behind afterwards. Training post quickly, you see this long period of time, decent 5 minutes of 3 TPs for IndiaBot, and for a while trading 1 TP each for a bit, but training posts in favour of IndiaBot and getting some good investments, returns from that initial 3 TP stagecoach investment, and all resources gathered. No surprise here that Migo was ahead due to his water play, stagecoach play, and just CDB is doing very, very well. Really well played by Migo there. One more game for you guys tonight, and you've had a show already so far, 3 series. I was expecting Frontier giving Zati to be highlights of the night after that series was completed, but this is a match in it. This has been so good in comparison. Hopefully we can get back on to for another game. Did ESO just literally just drop there and then? That would have been quite annoying if it did. Rest in peace, ESO servers. Hopefully it shouldn't be down too long. Usually up with it about 5 minutes. Let's have a check through the chat and see how you guys reacted during that game. I'm just going to arbitrarily scroll up to random points and start from there. Cardiff suggesting good fight for Japan, but I can't remember where that was. That might have been in the French player's base, but I can't remember a time where the Japan player had a really good trade. Maybe there was a point. Yeah, I know what the point was. It was when Japan had like 5 flaming arrows in the middle of the map. Cardiff suggesting needs more culverins. Konku, no more goons, Migo, please. And I agree with that. I think once Migo realised he needed to invest into his skirmishers tech-wise, he double pumped skirmishers and sent the upgrade card, and then switched to those QSRs afterwards. Soldier and Brandboy suggesting that Japan was favoured because Japan just had the resources still to gather and even trades. Japan Eco would take over, but no, they got that one wrong. Migo was on the water, and I suppose if you do have time in a boomy playstyle, water is always there for taking. And I think iamturk, he really needed to send those 2 Atakabunes to contest and try and defend. CDB pull trick into the middle of the map, remember, that was a good engagement to take on Japan's army. Hey, ESO back up. both players in the lobby, and everybody's just straight back into the ESO online after that sudden ESO crash. One thing I've recently realised as a player, and just by watching some of these games, quite a lot of these games now, players have decided to not siege Japan shrines as often and actually focus on their own eco and crisp build. And that game, we didn't see many shrines being taken down, of Turk shrines being destroyed, and Migo was doing his own business. And I suppose if you're having to invest wood into a barracks and pikemen for a single shrine or maybe 2 shrines, but getting picked off by Ashigarus, is it worth it? Not really. Could you just say, right, you got your shrines, but I'm going water, and grow your own eco in that way? And that's, I think we've seen recently with Japan, just different ways of playing as the Japan Civ, and also different ways of playing against Japan. Bearing straight, and it's going to be Anila Ninjas to pick first.
Yes.
Mr. Bramboy, 20 Ashy any second now. Game over. Jap wins, and I can't remember. I don't know what point it was referring to, but I didn't miss Turk going to the industrial age, did I? I see there's an aging up comment, but I can't remember which age they were referring to. So it looks like Turk wanted to age up. However, that push in with the 3 Cuirassier shipment, and then the Cuirassier batches being trained happened at the right time, and then had to transition all that to eco, all those resources into military at that point. I'm Turk here picking India. Migo's choice to counter pick. Will we see another Indian mirror? Mr. Bramboy, it's a tournament match. I would send my units all around the map, go FAK, get a coffee, and annoy my opponent a bit. Mr. Bramboy, we play these games, and once you believe the game is unwinnable, we resign. That's what polite people do. I probably would have typed GG. I wouldn't have actually forced a resignation, and they could still play it on, but I would have made my disposition clear that the Japan player was down 180 score at that point, and would have been tough for him to actually ever get back. And I think at that point it was all over. Right, we are ready to go, and yes, good luck, have fun with both players. 2-2 into the final game. It's going to be a German versus Indian game on Bearing Strait. Right, we're in for the final game between iamturk and IndiaBot. iamturk has been fighting under the banner of the Nila Ninjas, getting 2 points already. Nila Ninjas be very happy with that. IndiaBot taking 2 points himself, 2 apiece, and the SKGs have been talking some good things about this week. Expectation, hoping for a really good performance versus fellow strugglers Nila Ninjas, but I'll be very happy if I was the SKG team boss principal on how IndiaBot's played so far. Final game is going to be a German versus India matchup. iamturk taking the Indians as his first pick into Bearing Strait. Last time we saw Migo counter pick with Indians himself, but lost the mirror. Is now decided to counter pick iamturk's Indian pick with the Germans instead. Wood crate start. Both players are making use of the early wood. Extra villagers being trained for iamturk, or less wood being chopped. Early TP here for Migo. Let's see out on the map what both players are doing. Yeah, map balance is fine. Happy with that. Coins, 3 gold. Check these are gold. There's a nice big wood treasure down to the south. Just been scouted by iamturk, and 95 wood. Really nice pickup. Strong treasure guidance though. We'll need both his explorers for that one. Good luck. GL. Nice 2 hunts out forward base for Migo here. He does have a defensive musk ox. The musk deer is in the base as well. Lots of hunt nearby for Migo to herd in, and I thought this was actually a single hunt on the minimap. It's actually a double Indiabot. Dumb that they actually changed the map, and that is one of the quality of life improvements which I think all the players can agree on, and positive changes being made, encouraging extra of these higher value treasures in set locations on these icy islands, as we can see moving throughout the map. And just a few less of the lower tier treasures. Ooh, that white tiger picking up one of the engines, and these white tigers are one of the strongest animal treasure guardians you can find. 225 HP, 15 hand attack, 7 speed. You can't kite these guys, and a very fast rate of fire as well. And Turk lucky to keep both his single elephant alive there, and all that work for just a 95 wood. In-base aggro fort coming from iamturk, just like he did in that previous Indian game, but obviously different opponents this time. Will Migo go for colonial pressure? Probably not. Indian players having good infantry at their disposal, Gurkhas and sepoys, much better than crossbow pike, which the German player has access to. Germans could go doppels, but really expensive, slow to cross the map. I'm thinking standard fast fortress stuff here from the German player. Will Migo even train any units in the second stage? Will he just go for a naked fast fortress? Could he go for something like 3 settler wagon, 2 settler wagon, or 3 settler wagon, 700 wood? He does have the most standard deck going. I suppose you need a deck like this because the Indian Civ could rush you. So you do need your infantry units in the second stage to try and defend. 5 Ulans probably versus an Indian opponent may not be a needed. Sepoys and Zambraks, very good units in the second age for India. I was hoping for a few extra shipments in the 4th age from Migo actually. Going for a very standard deck, missing out on those winged hussars in the 4th age, as well as other shipments which could be 6 settler wagons, 13 Ulans, Lipnaza cavalry. So I'm expecting just a standard fortress age play from Migo. Migo hasn't been going too much into the 4th age this series, but the plays he has been doing has been very, very good. Only going to industrial in that Indian mirror, but that is the meta for that matchup. Right, both players advanced into the second age. Having a quick look at the treasures actually. Let's see what's going on. Turk picking up some loaded treasure, wood, double wood. Migo food. Migo gets a bit of wood himself. iamturk with that juicy 95 wood treasure, so iamturk slightly in advantage there for those treasures. But there's not too much else to say. Migo finds this single tiger. Both Indian explorers moving back, and this could be actually a pickup here, forcing the Indian explorer, German explorer to stay here. And actually, iamturk is going to just start it because he might as well start it. Otherwise, he's not going to take down Indiabot. But he does have those sepoys though. Migo steals the treasure. It looks like, yeah, Migo steals it, but 2 sepoys straight in on German's trading post. Reinforcing sepoys crossing the map, 4 of them. But foreign logging comes in as first card from iamturk. Slightly puzzled here at Turk's choice. However, you know, 5 sepoys is probably enough to even force a Minutemen pop from India, because he's actually gone in-base barracks and crossbows. I suppose you do need to go barracks in this matchup because there's the risk of India going for a timing push, shall I say, with the British consulates. Sepoys, redcoats, but iamturk First card, foreign login. This is a kind of a, it's not necessarily a bait, but it's a deception play from iamturk, deceiving the German player that he's going to go for some sort of aggressive second age stuff, but actually he's just really here to try and annoy the German player, and even actually forcing 5 crossbows being shipped, being trained from Migo. The fact that 5 crossbows have been trained is actually a bit of a win for iamturk, and he could even go back at this point and feel happy. He's not going to win this micro war between crossbows and sepoys, and now we see a German explorer in the base for iamturk, getting that attack siren off nice and early, hoping for those Uhlans to join in the raiding efforts, but actually they find the monks and try and pick these guys off as well. Both monks alive will heal each other up. 4 Uhlans getting away, no Uhlans going down here, and we see Migo going straight to the Fortress Age with the 3 settler wagon 700 coins, so slightly weaker than the 3 settler wagon 700 wood, but he kind of needed to chop extra wood and gather extra resources in the second age to produce these 5 crossbowmen. Shipment's all ready to go in the third age once he gets there. Crossbows moving forward to try and pick off. 4 Uhlans to try and pick off the elephants. Do the sepoy commit at this point? They kind of want to commit, they kind of don't. That train post is actually briefly being repaired. But now Migo into the next age, throwing down a few houses as well. I'm sure we'll see a skirmisher in the queue, and 3 skirmishers is being instantly trained up here. Crossbowmen moving forwards, and if these sepoys moving, you know what? I think I would actually like Minutemen here, the Uhlan snares. Wait for that first ship to come in, so you get more Uhlans. Those Uhlans can snare, but in this matchup and how this game's going so far, the German player's going to be on the offensive, and so Minutemen might not be actually featuring in this game at all. Certainly strong for their cost, and if you can pick off 5, 6, or you can pick off all your sepoys with that snaring effect, very, very beneficial. 3 war wagons, first card from Migo. I really like that. I assumed it was going to be the 8 skirmishers, but the war wagons deal well with the sepoy, but also covers for any camel play from iamturk in the second agents. He's even trying to sacrifice his one of his heroes just to deny and slow down this war wagon push from Migo, and you can see how much time this has bought. These sepoys are just getting out of there. They're hightailing it back to their base, telling their fellow comrades, nope, run. The German army's approaching. A few Gurkhas being trained. iamturk is currently aging, and the Ottoman Minutemen here from iamturk to defend, actually focusing down and shooting down his war wagons of the Minutemen. Really good play there. Minutemen doing 26 range damage. War wagons, no range resist, only melee. That's his bought time for iamturk to get that age up in queue and totally unpunished. What's going up there? Charming our gate, so we're expecting to see 1 Mahout Lancer on the field. This war wagon actually get picked off here. Good dodge there. Do you see how that war wagon dodged? Now he took 2 HP damage. Lucky, shall I say, or I'm sure Migo will come back afterwards and say that's the pro strats there being shown. Another batch of Gurkhas, and 9 Uhlans are charging across the field here from Migo, and the fact that Turks are only now just up with the Mahout, but more Uhlans coming across. These are still only colonial, and that's awkward to say the very least from Migo, but these Uhlans is what he wants versus what the Indians got just at the moment. 1 HP Minutemen going down, the sepoy is falling over very, very quickly, and it's just Gurkhas behind us, even called in sentries to try and hold out. Veteran Gardner Hussars with the royal upgrade, shall I say. Very strong versus colonial Uhlans, but oh, Mahout, how's that going to deal with the cavalry? And the answer is not very well with all the Gardners down. It's just now Gurkhas unprotected. iamturk hasn't sent a shipment, he's still got a shipment stacked. Okay, intervention. Intervention, it's the 5 Ottoman Hussars, and this is huge. These Uhlans are still colonial, and you're not expecting this intervention shipment, and this intervention shipment is going to clean up this army. Gurkha's reinforcing because you don't need sepoys if you've got these really strong Hussars out on the field, and Migo's reinforcing with more skirmishers, and this might actually be an early GG coming out. This is still 3 of these Gardeners and a 4th reinforcement at full HP. Gurkha's doing some good damage here, but you know, trading off armies versus India versus the German army, and the German army's already sunk 2 shipments so far. God, still it's awkward pushing out with no veteran Uhlans, and 8 more colonial Uhlans moving forward. And was that another batch of Uhlans being trained as well? Where's the veteran tech? Especially this Gurkha mass, both players not getting their veterancy upgrade. Still colonial Gurkhas into colonial Hussars, but another shipment should be on the way from iamturk. He's just cancelled 1 shipment and resent it again, so maybe he's decided what he wants to send. Does he have Howders in his deck? No Howders, but doesn't need the Yumi Swordsman. 9 Zambrax feels a little bit awkward without any upgrades in the colonial age here. I'm expecting 3 Mahouts from iamturk. I would like to see 3 Mahouts. He does have that nice food count behind. Or if he's feeling really safe, he could, or kind of greedy, he could go 1,000 coin and try and get into an industrial age up, and that might explain some of his macro issues at the moment. 250 export for the Minutemen, but those extra Ottoman Hussars came in with just the benefit of the 300 export card. Then those 5 Ottoman Hussars with an intervention, and that's what caught Migo out. He anticipated the 3 Ottoman Hussars, traded off with his 9 Ulan shipment, but those 5 Gardener Hussars and Colonial Ulans, it was a massacre. And Zambarak's now coming out. It was a 9 Zambarak shipments. These Zambaraks are still in a colonial age, and now with veteran Ulans on the field, these Zambaraks are, you know, relatively weak actually, but nice to go with a Gurkha composition or Gurkha heavy composition, and needs to keep these guys protected. Finally getting the disciplined Gurkha tech behind this, and now pushing out into resources to the north side of his base. Sending Zams to the north side to prevent from any Ulan raiding, but India bot is not going for Ulan raiding, he's just going to go for a full-on push. 3 more Ulans reinforcing, another batch of 5 skirmishers. Does have the military population lead somehow, and also Miga's Turk's got the eco lead. Has the German player lost any units behind this? He's not lost any eco behind this. Just India's just outscaling at the moment. Mantabdar Gurkha with the disciplined tech as well. 151 HP, 21 attack. These skirmishers 144 with only 18. Now they do outrange the Gurkhas slightly. Zambrak's nice adaptation here for the iamturk, but only 9 out in the field. You do have that. He doesn't have the stable down at all yet. That's okay. Now has the stable. I'm hoping for another batch of 5 Zambraks, and then the veteran Zambraks. We do see veterancy coming in now for those 9 units. Another 9 would make me feel more certain that you are safe from these veteran Ulans pushing in. But I suppose that's what the role of the Sepoy and Mansabdar Sepoy as well. And how much does this Mansabdar unit cost? 180 food and 60 coin to buff your units as well. So it's a cheaper version of disciplined Sepoys, and maybe with such a large match here, could be a better way of doing it is just have that Mansabdar instead of the disciplined Sepoys. Right, disciplined Zambraks moving to the south side, trying to zone off any Ulan wallwagon push in from India bot here, but engaging the skirmisher. Mansabdar Gurkha gone down already, and actually it looks like India was just going to crash in here with his veteran Ulans. Zambraks down to the south side, doing some decent anti-cavalry fire. Disciplined Sepoys also holding firm. Okay, Sepoys. Infantry combat from iamturk, buffing the Gurkhas and the Sepoys. These Gurkhas now again 149 HP, 20 range attack with these upgrade cards. I'm waiting for that Mansabdar Gurkha to come back onto the field. That's so important if he wants to try and buff his units before his big engagement. Looking into units in queue, what do both players have moving forwards? 2 Gurkha, 2 Zam, 2 Skirm, 2 Ulan. So Skirm Ulan from the German player, Skirm Goon from iamturk. The Mansabdar Gurkha, there he is. He's out on the field. He wasn't being trained, he was already trained, and these Gurkhas will be very happy to see their squadron leader has now rejoined them back on the field. 173 HP and 22 ranged attack. My god, those Gurkhas are strong. Sepoy's going for a raid though. Will come across the entire German army and probably get mown down by the skirmishers, but kind of at least gives vision of where Turk's going. Right, Gurkha's engaging with the skirmishers. Skirmishers are actually making good use of that extra range. iamturk this time having Eastern Medicine and actually keeping that 1 extra vill alive. So he's finally learnt through the series, but remember to get Eastern Medicine. It has been reduced for agencies, now only costing 120 food. Migo sends in the 3 war wagons, been going 9 Ulan, 8 Ulan, 8 Skirm, 7 Skirm, so sending back-to-back military shipments. No cav combat in just yet for Migo. Maybe the card he wants to send afterwards. Could go 1k wood and drop town centres on both of these coin mines or gold mines. That's what iamturk's doing. Town centres to the southern gold mine. And that's going to provide a nice garrison point. But will it get picked off by some of these Ulans? Nope, not just yet. I feel that Migo could take a book out of Giving Anxiety, get a page out of Giving Anxiety's book and send a few Ulans here and there to raid. And only 1 Ulan to topside to raid. Picks off 1 vill, but just imagine if that was a 3 veteran Ulan raid. It would be much more effective, and you still have the majority of cavalry here, but he's tentative. He doesn't know if he wants to push in or not, and not pushing in versus a stronger skirmisher mass is probably not what he wants to do. Over time, these Gurkhas will trade very well versus the skirmishers. Injibot, another 4 Ulans being trained. 3 Skirms going for the raid in this time, duty this time. Now finds in the town centre, which has been completed. This town centre could do some good fire on the German settlers if he wanted to. The town centre multiplied by 2 versus villagers. But again, Gurkhas trading with the skirmishers very well. Could trade off with the war wagons even better. Double Minutemen pop from the Indian town centre. Zambrak's in a good place to engage with the veteran Ulans. Where are the Sepoys? The Sepoys are nowhere to be seen actually. I know there's Sepoys in the field, but maybe they went down in the previous engagement. But a reinforcing batch of Zambraks. Okay, there's a few Sepoys here. Still, Mansabdar Sepoys standing firm with 400 HP. Could actually tank quite a bit, but goes down there. But just enough Zams to really reinforce. There's even a case at this point to go for camel attack that age 2 shipment. 30% damage on your Zambaraks. You could, send 3 Mahouts for 1,000 food or 2 Mahouts, but actually the improvement in it, if you're going for your Skirm Goon, could really roll over to decisive military advantage. But Turk forcing the resignation out of Inkinbot, going 3-2. Five Husks from the intervention is from the ESOC Patch 8.2, and we can see straight away affecting tournament play and leads into iamturk picking up this victory. So make sure you check the patch notes, everybody, if you're still in the tournament playing for your respective teams. And yeah, iamturk, one of the first players to include intervention in their Indian deck. 5 Hussars instead of 4, and it just caught Migo with his pants around his ankles at that point. Just couldn't do much to combat that push, and you can probably see on the graph when he didn't even have the veterancy Ulans at that point, and I think Migo was aware that his colonial Ulans were enough for the Gurkha mass, but actually once that intervention shipment came out, it felt like it was a really big pickup for iamturk, and that came in his first card here and picked off all his units. 36 population down to 17 off of the intervention shipment.